Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Tyson, I'm not saving nothing. I'm not, no, none of that. I'm through. YouTube has been destroyed. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Okay? YouTube has been destroyed. The way. Secondly, can y'all please send me some other content? Every time I check my messages, have you seen this cult that cut people's heads off and set them on fire and eat them for later? Have you seen this cult where they make people eat one piece of rice every day? Have you seen this cult where they make sure that they drive people into the middle of nowhere and make them stay up all night and whip them till they can't breathe no more? Have you seen the one where they make people take ice baths? Have you seen the one where they make people spray hot sauce in their eye? Have you seen the one where they make people eat 2 days out the month? Have you seen the God? Can y'all send me something else? God dang! Can y'all send me something else? And that's another thing. I am not no cult expert. Y'all leave me alone. I have other interests. Have you seen the cult where they make the women go outside and sleep with the dogs? Have you seen the cult where they make them drink their own pee? Have you seen the cult? God, dog, bruh, y'all won't give nobody no breathing room. Mix it up, bruh. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. That 5, I like fighting. And maybe it's my fault for not letting y'all know my interest. I like fights. Okay? I like fights. Get straight. How about we mix it up a little bit, y'all? I like fights. Okay? I don't watch. It's not a silly question.
Guys, this compilation video includes March 23rd and March 24th. This video is actually really interesting because Aaron, aka True, had someone come up on his live who was an ex-inmate. And while she's a female, she was able to give us somewhat of an idea of what Nature Boy has to look forward to during his incarceration.
Okay, I don't watch. It's not a silly question. I don't permanent or something that is temporary, and I don't have any paperwork to determine, was it 6 months, was it a year? I don't know. But I really don't have any intentions on going back to any of those places anyway. So it doesn't make me no difference. But I don't know the answer to that question. There's a lot of places in the United States that I haven't visited right here in my own country. Yeah, definitely Infinite. Soldier Girl, I understand, but we don't want to just make this a degrading fest. It's okay to make a little few jokes, but I'm not gonna just allow just a series of just degrading those women for no reason. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. It's okay to crack a little jokes to bring some humor to a very tragic situation, but I'm not gonna just allow just blatant let's just degrade them over and over again. Jesus Christ. I don't know, Princess Kim. I don't know. There's no way I would be able to know. They, they could be talking to Bishop for all I know. What places would I like to visit in the U.S.? I don't. I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I did not take advantage of my opportunity to do it. Yeah, that definitely is weird behavior. It's like, bro, okay, it's okay to make jokes, but god dang, I'm actually gonna have to get you out of here. Or actually, I'll give you a chance to correct yourself. But if not, I'm just gonna remove you. Yeah, that's better, Soldier Girl. Yeah, like national parks, things of that nature. I seen on this Instagram page where there's a place in the United States that still got buffalo running in the middle of the road. And I seen this in Georgia, right here in Georgia, they got this train. It's a 4-hour train ride that take you through like the mountains of Georgia. I'm like right here in my own state is places that I haven't been. So I'm not so quick to want to fly out to New Zealand and Italy and all this stuff. Yeah, YouTube channel got deleted. That joke gone. I'm exclusive now. I'm like the Super Bowl. You catch it live, or you just feel weird trying to watch a replay. Yeah, exactly, Mama Earthy. So I don't want to overlook the many great places that's right here in my own country. Yeah, sign up. Listen, for sign. Listen, man. Peep the people who know Eligio Bishop and what he's done. We ain't letting up off of him. Like we ain't. It ain't over yet. Like we ain't done with you, bro. Like you, just like Dave Chappelle said about Chris Rock when Will Smith slapped him, and Dave Chappelle was like, "I can't believe Will Smith thought that he." If he was like, if Will Smith would have slapped me, there's no way he was gonna sit down and enjoy the rest of his evening. Nature boy, you ain't about to enjoy the rest of your sentencing. Ain't nobody. We ain't through with you. You think we just about? Man, please. I think people will be through with Nature Boy once all the members leave. Oh, dang, simply. That's what's up. What's it on? What's the show on? Is it on YouTube? Yeah, appreciate that, C Rev. The US definitely has a lot of different places. And I don't want to keep my eye on all of these foreign countries requiring a passport and all these different regulations when I can move freely through all the 50 states. Like, I actually think that might be a goal of mine. I might just go to all 50 states. I might just go to all 50 states. And I can cross all the borders with no issue. I can stay as long as I want. I ain't got to worry about. I might just go to all 50. We might just do all 50. Who knows that, boy? Shoot, we might just go. We might just do. No, I ain't driving now. I'm fly. I'm a fly. Like if I like, I'll fly to California and then drive to all the states in that area. Fly in the middle, drive all them states, and then fly. Just fly to the general area, then drive. But just driving all 50, that sounds like a beast. But it do sound like an adventure, though. I might just take a train or something. I don't know. That would be a crazy. She said lazy. You right. That might just ruin the whole experience. That would be a dope experience to drive to all 50 states and hit up like the major places in each state, go to museums, and it's just the idea. National landmarks. I don't know. I don't like RVs. Them jobs are too big. I might train that thing. You said you a flight attendant? How is that? That seems like such a stressful job to me. Okay. I like all of it. I've been on a train before. I've been on a plane before. I've been on a boat before. I don't know about the RV. Yeah, that flight attendant, that job look like it's kind of stressful, boy. It's so many different options. Sundown towns. I never heard of that. But you got to be inside before sun go down. Oh yeah, seen them before. Sundown towns are creepy. Whoa, what is that? Look that up. I ain't never heard that before. The white people going to kill you. What? This a real thing? Nah, I ain't never heard no sundown town. That's a real thing. Dang, I'm gonna check that out. That's interesting. Nah, I don't know nothing about no sundown town. Everybody like it's real. Dang. Them folks like yeah, everybody like it's real. Yo, that's crazy. What? That junk made me want to go out there and be like, hey, is the sun down yet? Be out there, be out there on some equalizer. Hey, I heard I'm not supposed to be out here after sundown. Yo, and by the way, this video live. What? I'll be out there with a bullhorn. Hey, I heard I'm not supposed to be out here after sundown. Blowing the horn. Beep, 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 beep. Oh my God. Beep, beep. Walk up in their bar. Hey, where can a brother get something to drink? Oh my goodness. I heard this is a place that I could get something good to eat. You must don't know where you at, boy. Well, sir, I think I don't. The GPS, though, says that this here is a sundown town. And if my watch is correct, I got 30 minutes. If my here watch here is correct, looks like I got about a good 15 minutes. You boys can't do nothing. If you want to respect this, you want to make this a respectable sundown town, you gotta let me go. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, and I wanted to let you boys know I didn't come here by myself. Next thing they know, about 80 cars pull up. Well, boys, it looks like this here is gonna be a all day town. I'm gonna be out there with some cowboy boots, one of the big belt buckles. Come on, man. I can't believe that. Sundown town, really? Who wanna live like that? I remember my auntie told me something very profound. She said that racists are stupid because in order to keep your foot on my neck, you can't go nowhere. In order to keep me down, you can't move either. I was like, dang, auntie, that's true. So meanwhile, you trying to uphold a sundown town, but your life is miserable. You gotta go out your way to make this a sundown town. Man, forget them folks. Let them goofy, miserable, old dried up folks stay out there where they at. And some of this stuff could be urban legend anyway. I'm not saying that it ain't real, but I also ain't just about to say, oh, it's real. Cause at one time I used to believe some crazy stuff. Oh, it's real. Uh-huh, it's real. Right, exactly, Madam Yardy. They up here having children with their brothers and sisters talking about we need to get out. Don't worry, I don't want to stay. Don't worry, I don't want to stay because the reason this really is a sundown town because y'all doing some stuff y'all ain't got no business doing. Don't worry, I don't want to be here. Uh-huh. I remember thinking that backwards masking was real too. You say you know real accounts, hey man, I can't take your word for it. Look where that got me. I took Nature Boy's word for it for years. And a lot of tests determined that the whole thing was a lie. I can't take your word for it just on good principle. I'm not saying you ain't telling the truth, but I can't take your word for it. Look where that got me. And that's true, Lady Shikari. Even people who are raised in those types of environments don't go on to be racist themselves, if that's what you're saying. Virginia in 2007, don't nobody want to go to Virginia anyway. We in Atlanta. Come on, Atlanta, y'all. Now, who want to go to Virginia anyway?
Guys, this is a moment that I have personally anticipated. This book is now available for pre-order, authored by Janae Newell. The title is Lesson Learned. Janae shares a part of her journey with us, and I am looking forward to this amazing read. I myself am already on the pre-order list. If you're interested in being one of the first people to get this book, definitely hit Janae up on IG. Her IG is janae.alexandria. So Hit her DM, let her know you're interested, and be sure to let her know that Medaya sent you.
Who want to go to West Virginia? Y'all stay out there. I see y'all on Soft White Underbelly talking about some Appalachian man and the Whitakers. I know what y'all doing out there in the woods. Y'all being nasty. So I don't want to come out there. You let it be a sundown town. I won't be there during the day. What I care about a sundown town for? I'm not gonna be there during the day. Because I guarantee these sundown towns is dusty, got one stove, one restaurant, one gas station. Don't nobody care nothing about that. Y'all worry about the sundown town. We ain't going in today. Come on, bruh. West Virginia, nobody worry about them broke Appalachian fools. Y'all got one stove, one butcher. Your dad is your cousin and your brother. What we going out there for? I ain't gonna encounter nothing because I'm gonna stay right there on GPS on the main highway. Nobody worry about these broke down fools. They wanna they the only reason they doing that is because they live a miserable existence and they ain't got nothing else to do. So to give themselves something to do, let's make this a sundown town and run the Negroes out. Cause y'all ain't got nothing else to do. Nobody want that. Y'all dusty butts gonna go broke anyway. You gonna be dead. Cause when your kids get on the internet, they gonna leave. They gonna be like, man, don't nobody want to stay down here in this raggedy town with y'all trying to be racist. We gone. Your mama is your sister and your cousin and your auntie. Come on, bro. Nobody worry about these sundown folks. Oh, don't go there because they gonna do this. Man, nobody worry about them broke folks. They got one gas pump. It ain't even digital. The numbers turn. I guarantee 99% of these sundown towns don't even pop up on GPS. Y'all be careful about the sundown town. Something you ain't even think about going to in broad daylight, let alone some sundown. The hotel got one room. Man, tell they got payphones. Ain't nobody worried about these broke, dusty, mad, Appalachian, stinking, incest, inbred head folks. Ain't nobody worried about that. That's why y'all mad, because your brain at that maximum capacity. Your mama is your brother and your daddy and your nephew. That's why you ain't right. That's why you out here talking about God. That's why you sitting on the porch with a shotgun, because you don't know you crazy. Come on, man. Your mama is your sister, your cousin, your niece, and your auntie. Your brother is your daddy and your uncle. Man, nobody worry about these dusty folk. Your grandma married your auntie and then she had a baby with her brother and your brother had a baby with you. And then your cousin them married your sister and both of your sisters had a baby together. And come on, these folk crazy. Man, nobody worry about these folk. Come on. These degenerated people. Ain't nobody worry about them. You try to pull that sundown. You pull up on my car looking like the Whitakers if you want to. I'm gonna run you over and keep driving and say I thought it was an animal. Y'all better stop letting these folks mix and mingle like that without no dang guidance. You pull up on my car looking like the Whitakers, I'm gonna run you over and say I thought it was a dog. Talk about some Jim Bob and Huckleberry Pig. You just knew that they was being influenced by the wrong people. So why is we acting like we just can't comprehend how carbonation and its influence shape people to become something and do something that they wouldn't otherwise have done or became? Come on, man. God, dog. Man, who care? Who care about how they head look, man? I'm telling you, man. Y'all listen, man. This is what God told me. Y'all believe God talk to y'all when He need to talk to y'all, man. But He told me, man, I could turn this whole thing around. You don't know what's going on. God said, you don't know what's going on. It might look one way, and I'll flip it around another way. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm glad I said that, man. Y'all act like y'all ain't never got around the wrong folks. Or y'all act like y'all ain't never seen nobody you know get around the wrong folks and start acting like something that you know they ain't. So what you seeing in carbonation is that multiplied by 1,000. But it's essentially the same thing. Some of y'all got sons. You know your son is respectable. He nice, well-mannered. All of a sudden, he start hanging around these boys, and now he want to do some stuff that you ain't teach him how to do. And you don't call him stupid or slow. You tell him you need to get away from them little boys. Same thing with your daughter or niece or whatever. Sister. You know she respectable, well-mannered, polite, but she start hanging around these what we call fast-tailed little girls, and she start doing stuff you know she don't typically do. You don't call her slow, and you don't call her stupid. You say you need to get away from them little girls. So what is we talking about here? What you watching in carbonation is that multiplied by 1 million. Come on, Kivana. God, dog, can we forget? God, dog, Kivana is not having it. But think about this, Kivana. Who's more credible, you or Shakes? Because Shakes know Jax personally now. Hold on now. Hold on, Kivana. Shakes, come on, get her now. Get what Shakes said now. Shakes the go. Come defend Jax now. Who's more credible, you or Shakes? Because Shakes know Jax. She know his family. I'm not saying you wrong. I'm just saying we got to look at the credibility here. Jax might got a pass, but don't we all? Don't we all now? Come on now. How many of y'all done did stuff at 18 that you wouldn't do today? Come on now. We gotta, yeah. But you might be right though on the real. I ain't saying you ain't wrong now. I ain't saying you wrong now, cause you might be right. Who knows? Only time gonna tell. I communicate with some past members, but I don't. This how I do it, right? I communicate with the ones that I feel like are mature and can see this thing for what it is. But I ain't got no respect for the ones that pop out and try to be relevant to carbonation by association. And it seems like their motive is attention. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's why I don't never call their names out. Because in order for me to call your name out would mean that I respect your existence. And I don't. So I don't, people come ask me about other people. You'll never hear me say nobody else's name on here that I don't respect. Because to acknowledge you would mean to signal some form of importance, which you don't have. So I let them folk do what they need to do. But God told me don't worry about them. Because I got a plan for everybody. So let them folk have fun. But just like Nature Boy thought he was untouchable, and he thought he was getting away with something, come on, man. Everybody gonna get theirs in due time. I ain't got to do nothing. And then, yeah, what's up, Nicole? What's up, man? What y'all got to say to that, man? Juju ain't nothing but 21. God, dog.
Lynn, I'm going to tell you about that. That's a good question, right? So, Pete, this. I always revert back to Malcolm. Malcolm said that when he left the Nation of Islam, it was first a physical separation, then it was a psychological separation. And Lisa, I believe Lisa said that we got to remind ourselves that the trial was just a couple of weeks ago, y'all. So it's going to take some time for that to kind of sizzle in. I before I got this message from God, I thought that them cutting their hair was a signal that it was over for them. But God told me, he said, hold on. He said, hold on. Because they need to do these extreme things to keep their mind off of what the real is. So they got to cut their hair and do some wild stuff because it might be settling in. Did you think about that? It might be settling in. So they got to do these wild things to keep their wild thing. Doom, 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 doom. They got to do these wild things to keep their mind off of this hard truth that's sitting on them right now. And that's a possibility, Lynn. That's a possibility. That's why I like to stay in the middle. There's a possibility that this could be Charles Manson Part 2. Or there's a possibility that they could be getting ready to get up out of there. God said, you don't know, but enjoy the show. He said, you don't know, enjoy the show. Oh, no, it ain't touched home yet, Lynn. Oh, it ain't hit him yet. It's only been 3 weeks. It's only been 3 weeks, Lynn. Let it sizzle a little bit. You know how when you turn the stove on, it take a while for the pan to heat up. Your pan just don't heat up right then. You put your little oil in there, you put your little grease in there, you put your butter in there. But it take a while. You can take your stove and turn it on high. But the water don't start boiling right then. Dana. Yeah, that's what you got to tell yourself, Dana. When you trying to keep that truth out. I got to protect my subconscious, mean I can't afford for y'all to be having me entertain these thoughts and possibilities that carbonation might be over. Dana, you got it now. See, Dana coming in here with the real. Yeah, got y'all. They trying to close out anything external or common sense. Yes, ma'am. I couldn't have said it no better. So I had to come back and say, man, God said, man, it ain't over yet, man. Just wait and see. But he did say it could be over. Because sometimes you pray to God, you be like, God, please heal my family member, and they die anyway. But unfortunately, God's plan will always trump our plan, and we have to adjust to it and understand that it is always in our best interest, regardless of what it looks like to us. So them cutting their hair may actually be a sign that they done lost hope, and they reaching. They reaching, boy. What you mean, when do I let people up? When they send the invite. The request to join the video is dry. People like the comment section. Cause some of these folk hot nasty. Microwave nasty, dishes in the sink, kids running around everywhere, cigarette lit. Folk don't want to come up. Man, the chat allow you discretion to judge carbonation members. But if we seen your background, we be like, you don't need to be watching this no more. You've been watching for 6 years. I see. It explains a lot. The request thing is it look like a little camera with a plus. It's like a camcorder with a plus. Yeah, you don't want to see some of these folk background. Come on, man. Some of these folk backgrounds is a doggone shame. You know, some of these folk, they know they too ugly for TV. So they get to clown everybody in the chat. But you know, you ugly, you not allowed to joke on nobody. Because people can't get around the fact that you ugly though. You know, when you ugly, you have to keep the jokes to a minimum. You know, you have to, that's why the chat, you know what I'm saying? That's why the chat is so appealing. Because it allows you to keep your life, you know, private while you get the clown on everybody else. Because, you know, you can't come up here and be talking about, you know, I think Juju and you ugly. And you be like, but you ugly though, so. That you can't get around that. Like, as soon as you pop up on the camera and you ugly, that's it. That's all. People don't even care what you're saying no more. Some of these folk gotta stay in the chat to participate. They know what time it is. Cause you ugly. You get up here on their camera talking about some anybody. Can't nobody get around the fact, oh, but you ugly though, so. You know what I'm saying? Whatever else you was saying, you know, you just ugly. Oh, it depends on what type of device you on. Oh shoot, I'm on the iPhone. We only do iPhone, so if you an Android user, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Somebody say you gotta go out and come back in, but it's a little camera right next to the comment section. It look like a little camcorder. It got a plus sign. Not the people. Oh no, is it the people? That's how I invite you to join. Let me see. I can invite y'all, joker. Some of y'all naked. You know your body tore up. Some of y'all on live right now under the cover. That's just what it is. Shay, you made sure we didn't see that Toyota Corolla. She made she made sure we didn't see them cloth seats, boy.
I did not. I can't deal with you, Aaron.
She was like, turn the camera on, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. Cause you know you riding in the goddamn Toyota Corolla right now.
No, I'm not. You was funny
Blow
as
your
hell.
cover. You didn't want to get your cover blown.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do that.
All right.
You gonna get
Go
off?
ahead and defend Jax, man.
No. See, the thing is, like, I don't know. I still kind of live fairly close, and I still like know some of his. Well, I know some of his people, and I just didn't want to like come out like that, because I was trying to have faith in him. I'm
Yeah.
like, he gonna leave. I know he gonna leave. Wait, just give it a couple months and stuff, because like the main video that caught me was when he was like rubbing his feet, Eligio's feet, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go. And it tripped me out because just knowing him and seeing him do something like that, I'm like, what the hell? Like, it tripped me out. So I kind of had a little faith in him that he'll leave. But I told you one day, and you was like really? But I don't know. It'll be a lot of things in the chat, so maybe you just got sidetracked a little bit.
Yeah, but you went from, you probably just said I know Jax or whatever, but then all of a sudden you pop up on Lisa like giving the whole 411, like that's different. Like I'm thinking you might have known of him or something like that, but you giving the whole rundown. I'm like, you just were gonna hold this in until when?
Yeah. So we went to elementary school, and then we went to high school together. And like I sent the video recently to one of our other friends and to my cousin, because my cousin used to have a crush on him.
Uh,
And I was like, look at your boy. And she just sent laughing emojis because she was like, what? But one of my other friends said that she was like, did he get laced with something? She said that he came over her house and was like, me and our God or something like that. And she was just shocked. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
yeah.
Like,
But the part that has people in the most disbelief is how do you get to that point? And it's
right.
a lot. It's not just like a you wake up one day and you Jax. You don't just wake up one day and be Aya. It's a series of things that occur. And here's the thing, right?
Mm.
I urge people, those who want to be educated, to research the Stanford prison experiment. Don't watch the movie. I'm saying go research the actual Stanford prison experiment. Philip Zimbardo, the psychologist who ran the experiment, had it scheduled to go for 2 weeks. During the experiment, he had a group of participants. They were college students, all male. He had one group be the guards, and he had the other group be the prisoners in a simulated prison environment. It was supposed to go 2 weeks. He had to shut it down in 6 days because the people began to lose their mind.
Mm.
And I want people to understand the magnitude of that because they knew it was an experiment going into it. They knew, like, it wasn't like they was like, "Hey, man, this is carbonation, and we believe in harmony and peace, but just on the outside. When you get here, it's gonna be a whole nother
Right.
thing."
Right.
These students were paid. They knew it was an experiment. They knew the guidelines, and in 6 days, they lost their mind. And so I want people to understand that if you can lose your mind in 6 days, what can be done to a person in 2 years?
Mm. A lot.
Look it up. I'm just saying, this what carbonation is not something that's foreign. It happens a lot in different forms. One of the greatest significant differences between carbonation is that it was online.
Right. Yeah.
It was online. People have never seen the process of brainwashing occur in real time, but it has been done before. The Chinese have done it. You know what I'm saying? So there was people, right? I can't remember what war it was, but the Chinese ended up, you ever heard of a prisoner of war before?
No.
Okay, so a prisoner of war, let's say the United States get in a fight with Germany. And if you get behind enemy lines and they catch you, Germany catch you, you become a prisoner of war.
Mm.
And so I can't remember what war it was, but some United States soldiers got caught by the Chinese, and they was there so long that they actually started adopting the philosophy of the Chinese, and they didn't want to come home.
Wow.
They actually was like, "No, we gonna stay. We believe in the Chinese communist way now." But eventually, they did come home. So this idea of brainwashing and mind control is an old concept, but carbonation presented it in a new way, especially for African Americans, because we assume that cults is almost interchangeable with white people, just like serial killer. When you hear serial killer, I bet you could probably think, if you had to guess, I bet it's a white man.
Mm.
But if you ever heard that a black dude was a serial killer, it'd blow your mind.
That's
And it's
crazy.
the same thing that happened with us. Like, people like black cult. That don't even go together. But it has been done before. It just has not been online before.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes carbonation vastly different and that much more interesting.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I never knew about a call or anything until I started like getting back connected with him. Like, hey, what's up? How you been? And I kept following him and everything because at first he wasn't there, and so when he did come there, and I just over the years, I started watching World, and they was talking about the cult, and I'm like, what is that? So I looked it up myself, and I started learning about what it was for me
Yeah.
because I didn't
Yeah.
know nothing about none. Like I wouldn't have never, if I even joined something like that, I wouldn't have knew what it was.
Nah, that's the whole point. Because a cult doesn't come out and just say, this is what we actually believe. they make sure that they sell you the most beautiful and appealing aspects first, and then you're slowly introduced to the inner core beliefs once you get assimilated into the group.
Oh, okay. And I think like for his family, I feel like because I was gonna ask his sister to come out and speak, but I think for them, I feel like they kind of like they just happy to see him when he do come around, so they don't want to mess that part up.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, because if they and I tell you this, if they did come out and speak, it would probably push him further away because he would take that in the mindset that he's in now. He would consider that an act of like betrayal,
Yeah,
and so I definitely understand why they have not come out and spoken out against him because of the cult belief system, he would then be required to cut them off and not engage with them anymore.
that's so crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so and that's another dynamic I want to study more because usually on cult documentaries, you just hear from the cult members. You don't too often hear from the family members and what they was going through and what their mindset is and what their mentality is. So I wanna look into that more too and see, how they feel about the whole situation because I know it got to be hard.
Yeah, it is. It's hard watching on the other side. Like, dang, what the heck? Like, what did he do to them to make them do this, and this? And especially with like family and friends, because I used to look and be like, oh my God, are you serious? Um, but I did notice, like I was saying on like I was saying on Lisa's panel, I was saying that Eligio knew who to bother and he know who not to bother. He knew that Jax was in like boxing and everything, and I mean not boxing but wrestling, and he knew not to really like do too much to him because he would have whooped his ass.
Well, so here's the thing with that though. Yeah, one on one, yeah. But
Yeah,
the thing about it is that this is why Eligio is a hoe because he made sure to make sure that the men were against each other. Because if Jax would have tried to go one on one with him, he know we would have stepped in and intervened. And he also made sure that there was chaos amongst the men, is because if we would have ever unified, we probably would have killed him.
wow,
But everybody stayed in this fear of being reported and being jumped if they ever tried to unify or if they tried to attack Eligio on their own. Because I don't care what nobody say. Ain't nobody in here Bruce Lee.
mhm,
When you are up against 6, 7 dudes, you you ain't confident that you gonna come out of that situation. I
right,
don't care who you are. You start thinking twice when it's 6 people.
mm,
So even though Jax might have been a college wrestler, ain't no amount of wrestling in the world
right, going yeah,
gonna have you beat 6, 7 folks. Ain't no my listen. It just but that was I think that as he realized he had that type of control in place, he began to become more and more confident in what he could and couldn't do. But when you look at it historically, I personally think that inevitably Lee Joe Bishop was going to get hurt seriously or killed because that's what happens to people who end up being tyrant leaders. Eventually, the people will turn on you.
right,
I think it would have inevitably happened because we would have caught on to what he was doing, and I think that some type of a rebellion would occur. I mean, you look at the slaves, Nat Turner,
yeah,
them. Eventually, it happens, but I'm glad that, and I'm glad that God saw a different plan to the point where we didn't have to do that, and that Eligio Bishop was always set up to destroy himself. We just didn't know that it was gonna turn out like this.
Yeah. And it's so funny that he got like he had he made sure of different things. Like you said, he made sure everybody was like kind of against each other, and it's just crazy how he just like. Do you think he studied some stuff?
I wouldn't be able to know because, like, I use the example of a bully in school. A person that is bullying kids in school is using manipulation techniques, but they didn't study them. You know what I'm saying? You can't see somebody in six. There's a set. You know, you got kids in middle school that's bullying. You got kids in elementary school bullying. They ain't read no books. But I think that sometimes it is innate to be manipulative and controlling. But I also can't say that he didn't read anything or watch anything because I just don't have that information. So I just think that we don't know.
Wow.
We don't know.
Because it seemed like he mastered everything. It's like he mastered everything that he wanted to work in his way. That's why I asked that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
But
it is. Then and my thing is that people be aware of these techniques and strategies when it's being used upon them because they can happen in your one-on-one relationships. They can happen with you and your mama and your daddy, and they can happen at your job.
wow, it's so crazy because I also said on her panel like when I joined his live on Instagram, he'll say my whole name. Like I'll be like, oh my god, you see my Instagram name? Why are you saying my whole name?
Oh, my boy put you out there first, middle, and last
I'm
name.
telling you. So so
Shaniqua Dante Johnson. Is that you? From
right,
Ohio?
man.
109 Miller Street, 31721. God, dog, that.
Right. He say my whole name, but then I said, "What's up, Edgar?" And he was like, "Don't call me that. That's not my name. My parents gave me that name, but then again, them not my parents. My parents is a son." And I'm like, you got Jax on Instagram, but you got Edgar Lewis Bright Jr.
On Facebook.
on Facebook because you know who you are. You know exactly who you are. And if you wanted to denounce that name, why do you have it on Facebook? Like you have Junior and everything. So
Even
you know that that's your daddy name.
even his so-called leader, his Instagram name is Eligio Bishop.
Right, his real name. Like
That don't make no sense.
I don't I don't think you be watching. I know you don't be watching their lives because I be
No, boy, I can't watch they lives. I can't watch them, boy, because it don't make no because when he said that his parents weren't his parents and that wasn't his name, that's called a thought stopping cliche. So it
Mm,
prevents him from examining the truth of what you said. That's why you hear Juju say stuff like, "I gotta protect my subconscious." With it, that just means I can allow myself to explore the facts of what you said, even though they claim to be a group of people who are objective.
yeah, I think he had like turned his comments off
Yeah,
or something. He didn't
that's
want
a
to see.
thought. Yeah, he can't allow himself to explore ideas that show that what he's doing is wrong.
Mm, wow. I just knew, like I didn't. I kind of like I had a feeling he was gonna cut his hair, but then I was like, because you want to have faith in him, as knowing as people that know them. But Janae had came up and said that he was gonna do it, and I'm like, I don't think he gonna do it, but I do think he thought about it though, until the next day, cause
Well, I don't know if they are in contact with Eligio Bishop or not. But I told myself, I said, I know Juju said he wasn't gonna cut his hair. I said, if your chief tell you to cut your hair, you gonna do it.
right,
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't even know why he flexed out on the internet for.
like he wasn't gonna do it.
Like he wasn't gonna do it. Like I'm like, if your chief tell you to cut your hair, you gonna do it. But I thought also that might have been his personal boundary that would have
Mm.
caused him to leave. Like, nah, bro, this don't make no sense, dog.
That's what I was
Especially
going. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, maybe he gonna sit there and be like, why would we cut our hair?
right. That don't make no sense. Like, why do we have to disconnect ourselves from, of course, I'm speaking from their perspective. Why do
Hmm.
we have to cut our connection to God just because you lost yours?
All right, y'all, go on ahead and drop me a comment, smash the heck out of that like button, and share. Thank you guys in advance.
Right.
That don't make no sense. Like, I thought and then he be the main one talking about some keep the knowledge. Don't keep the knowledge mean keep your hair?
But and then if y'all was so distraught about it, like if y'all was so distraught, like why would they cut his antenna and all this and that? Why would y'all go and do
That
it?
would mean you would probably value yours more, right?
Right.
You would want to keep yours, but it's beyond because that's what carbonation ain't about. No doggone knowledge. Carbonation is about Eligio Bishop is right and the world is wrong. Period. Period. Everything else is interchangeable depending upon the agenda at hand. If
Mm-mm-mm.
melanin matters, if melanin being something important makes us look better, then yeah, we'll talk about it. If it doesn't, we won't.
That's crazy.
It's interchangeable. It's interchangeable. It's like plug and play.
Right.
Plug and play.
Yeah. I just knew that he was gonna sit there and like think about it. Like, why are we
He
cutting our hair? I don't
had
even
to. He
get it.
had to think about it because he would have never said, "I'm not cutting it,"
Mm-hmm.
which means you
Exactly.
entertain the idea of it being cut.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm telling you, I have my own personal relationship with God now, and He told me that even though it may look one way, you don't know what the ultimate outcome gonna be.
Yeah.
And He told me that whatever the outcome is, that's what it was always gonna be anyway. And you ain't gotta go out here thinking that you have any type of responsibility in it. You ain't gotta make no video. That's why I blow up my YouTube channel up. I pour gasoline on that joker and
That's
set it
insane.
ablaze.
That's
I
actually insane, Aaron.
what?
You know, I
What?
look for it because, you know, like you kind of like the only person that kind of speak out in the better light of telling the story. Nobody else really do that. Solar, he talk in circles, and you don't never know what he's talking about for real. And no nobody else really speak out. So you know, with you just making a YouTube and talking about it, it gave people like a better light at everything. So when you said that you deleted it, I was like, what
Y'all
the?
better catch me on Instagram.
And Kendra was on the panel too. She said she was mad. She was mad
Hey,
at
listen, man.
you.
I listen. I'm picking me first every time because I went through a series of years thinking somebody else knew what was best for me. God told
Right.
me to blow my YouTube up. Now y'all ain't got nothing to say. I know how to shut all y'all down. God told me to get rid of the YouTube channel. You don't need to do it because the T already got it. Lisa already got it. And Medaya already got it.
Yeah.
God said you don't need to do Instagram. Don't save nothing. If they there, it's for them. If it ain't, then it ain't. So y'all take that up with God.
Yeah. I can understand where you're coming from. Like if y'all catch it, y'all catch it. If
Don't
y'all don't,
cancel
y'all
it.
don't.
And
Yeah.
the T and Medea and Lisa, sometimes they recorded. Then that was the one that needed to be recorded. I'm not
Right.
about to. God said, stop trying to record everything. You ain't gotta capture everything.
Yeah.
The ones that need it, they'll be there. The ones that don't, they don't.
And why is Juju going so hard when he was like the lowest of the lowest of he never really got attention. I could tell from watching. I wasn't even there. Like he didn't seem very much important to Eligio. So I'm just trying to figure out why he going so hard.
Well, I tell you this, I'm not no psychologist, but I give you my opinion. It
Mm-hmm.
is true that Juju's value is insignificant, not as a person
Yeah.
pertaining to carbonation. Eligio was on the phone in jail and told Juju and Jax, I don't know why y'all still there.
Oh, he did.
Yes, he told them boy to their face because it was me, Jax, Juju, Caliber, and Amar, the guy who ended up passing away.
Mm-hmm.
And we was in a meeting. Eligio said, Juju and Jax, I don't know why y'all even still here. And they was fighting to stay. They was saying they ain't got nothing to go back to. But he had them boys leave and gone about their business. Then ultimately he told Amar ended up leaving in the middle of the night. And then Ishmael, it was just me and Ishmael. He told Ishmael, you need to go on, do your own thing, brother.
Wow.
And I was
So
the
he knew who he
only
wanted to
person
be.
there. And Juju and Jax, I don't know why they came back or what Eligio told them, but Eligio don't care nothing about them boys. He don't care nothing about them.
That's
But
crazy.
as far as, you know what I'm saying, people finding value in my method of delivery, y'all just gonna have to catch me on IG, man. That just is what it is, man. But oh, and another thing, my opinion on why they going so hard is because they feel like they beat me and and Courtney and Dalen because before they came, they looked up to us.
Yeah.
You know, they looked at us like, oh, they 18, man. Then they've been there. You know, I ain't never left. You know, I'm one of the few. I think me and Courtney and Dalen, we never left. So in carbonation, that's like a badge of honor. Man, you was here the whole 4 years and you never left. You was here the whole 5 years. So Juju and Jax in their cult identity feel like they're doing something that I couldn't do. And so to them, they may feel stronger. They may feel like, you know what I'm saying, they have more strength and ability and intelligence. And also, Eligio Bishop probably sold them this bullcrap story that when it's all said and done, they going to get all these wives and that they going to be the generals of carbonation and they going to be leading all these men. The same thing he tried to tell me. And so it's some type of promise, some type of reward that they're hanging on to, or some type of fear that if they don't see this thing through, they gonna end up in hell. He done probably told them that, you know, I'm suffering right now and the reason you see they still talking about me, they can't let me go. They still suffering. You know, something he done told them that
Mm-hmm.
has warped why I'm still talking about them into this belief that, see, there ain't nothing else out there. If there was something else out there, he would have just moved on with his life. You would love for me to move on with my life so that people wouldn't be able to get a full view and understanding of who you were. I'm messing up y'all PR campaign. Because the more we talk out, the more of a chance that somebody else will be deterred from joining carbonation. But if we just don't say nothing, somebody might just unsuspectingly believe what Eligio Bishop is saying or what the wives are saying. He would love for, and also prisoners are listening.
Yeah. That's why, that's the first time I heard that with him telling them to leave. I mean, well, why y'all still here?
And he told them boys straight up on the phone on jail call. Juju and Jess, I don't know why y'all even here. And he done told me he done told me, you know, the vision of where carbonation was going. And I told Juju, I said, bro, when me and Bishop used to talk about the future plans of carbonation, your name was not included.
the best version of themselves. That's not who he is, and it's just impossible for a narcissistic person to be able to do that. They don't, because they don't know they have a problem. The thing about Eligio is he don't think anything is wrong with him. Narcissistic people don't think that anything wrong with him. They think that everybody else is the problem. So he's not going to see, maybe I need to convert to try to change my life. Yes, he is scared. Maybe I need to change my life and do what's right, because he don't think he's the issue. It's everybody's fault but his. And if you have ever been in a narcissistic relationship or had narcissistic parents, you'll know that they never take accountability, and he's not going to. There's not going to be a breakthrough for him. It's not going to be a light at the end of the tunnel for him. Who he is exactly who he is, and he's not going to change that. If anything, he's going to compel more to what his true personality aligns with and become a worse version. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty accurate that he's going to fit right in with the low vibrational individuals, and that's how he's going to do his time. He's going to get comfortable, but he's not going to be able to have a per se cult. He's not going to happen.
One quick thing. I'm glad you got to that point. If we cut off, it just means Instagram cut us off. Everybody come right back. Okay. Now, how does him being a sex offender affect his position and time in prison?
They're gonna know he's a sex offender because it's classes that he's gonna have to take. So it could go either way, because this is what's happening right now in the Georgia Department of Corrections. Right, at one point it was pretty controlled. It had lots of people volunteering to be correctional officers, but now the inmates run. Now the guys, they've always pretty much ran the dorms, but now the women run the dorms too, because they don't have any officers. People are in fear of working there. They feel underpaid for the things that they have to endure by working there. So they're scared, so they don't have officers. These people now do what they want to do. They pretty much run the prison by themselves. They may have one officer to every unit, right? So it's not going to matter that he's a sex offender in layman terms. It is not going to matter, because you have so many child molesters, and you have so many people that hurt kids. Let me tell you something about the women's prison. 80% of women that are incarcerated, right? I'm gonna say 70. 70% of them are in there for something related to a man, whether that's unaliving a man that they've been with because the guy played games, or for whatever personal reason, unaliving their kids because of a man, or because of wanting to save a relationship, or taking the charge for a man. So that's what. So prison is full of people that are lost souls. So he fits right in. He meets every criteria. He checks every single box of someone that needs to be in there, because he is the epitome of what an inmate is. His mindset is that of an inmate. And with the men, it's the same thing. You see how, I don't know if you watch the news. I don't watch the news, but I do like be on like Shade Room, how all these men are hurting these girls or unaliving them because they getting rejected, or they just can't take rejection. So they do stuff and then they end up in there. So you have a pool full of people or individuals that all have the same mindset and the same concept, and it all goes back to, I was rejected as a child. I was abandoned. And I don't feel love. So I'm going to disrespect women. I'm not going to like women or I'm going to mistreat them because my mom wasn't there for me. It's deflection at its finest. So, and when I tell you he's not going to have any issue, because being incarcerated is almost like a third world country, right? Because when you go in there, we have our own lingo. We have our own way of doing things. We're stripped from every single thing. So you only have your natural self. You only have what you are and who you come as. And eventually the mask is going to fall off. So whoever you are at the core, it's going to come out. It's not going to be this facade that you put on. You have people that go in there as certified streetwalkers, right? So pretty much like Aya, to tie it in. I watched the live that the T made the other day. She put a compilation of videos together, and how Aya was explaining how she was pimped. So it's the same thing with her and Leo. She's looking for that masculine, even with Velvet having a father in her life, she still obviously was missing that dominance, that malely masculine figure. And I think that's what those women look for in Eligio, but he's not a divine masculine. He's just a coward. He's just a narcissist. And sometimes with narcissism, people confuse the two. That's why you have so many individuals in relationships with narcissists, because we're looking for this one thing, but narcissists are so good at having that mask on that you'll think that this is what it really is, when in reality, this person's just a narcissist. They're not into their divine masculine. And like I said earlier, as I started to listen to everything that he was saying, because I was so blinded by the aesthetic of y'all being in the tropics and the aesthetic of y'all, you know, eating coconuts and being free and wearing your natural hair, because society puts such a stigma on every girl having to wear wigs and having to have lashes and having to have a perfect body. It was very appealing to the human eye to be able to see people just be them natural selves, and that is what draws in. So I think Eligio one was a great, I think he was a great uh, marketing. He was a master marketer, right? He was able to market the looks of it all, and that's what drew people in. But then if you're someone like me who listens and pays attention to the things that other people aren't going to, you can see that it was all like he was making it up as he go. He was making the rules up as he go. Everything he was saying, he was changing it. Like how he I just did a TikTok on how Diddy was the master of being able to reinvent himself, right? When things started getting too hot, he was able to reinvent himself. And Eligio did the same thing. He was reinventing himself. He had about 4 different names from when I was following him. He was able to reinvent himself and draw more people in, and draw more people into what looked like the perfect world. But in reality, when I started to look in, I saw sadness in all y'all eyes. I saw sadness in all y'all. And when I tell you I was so happy when I seen you and Kendra and that baby had got out of that. You just don't know. For us that have been followers, that was like a personal award to see y'all get up out of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it shows that you value life. You chose life. You chose happiness, and you chose peace. That's what you chose. You didn't choose to follow something that you don't even know was it the truth or not, or whether it was any authenticity in it. You chose you, and you chose your family, and that, Aaron, makes you a divine masculine. That makes you a man, because you chose your family first. And if everyone else can get on board and choose their family and their life, and choose, the cleanliness of their soul, because carbonation is very low vibration. Let me just put that out there. He marketed it as something high, but it was a very low vibrational place, fighting and hurting people and turning people against each other to make one person feel bad about the next. That's low vibrational. It was nothing about that said we're vibrating high outside of y'all diet, right? Because it's low vibrational actions that are taking place, because you have people that are trying to figure out who they are in life and what they want to do. And he was the master manipulator of making everybody dislike each other. It was all very low vibrational and very low functioning. And so for you to be able to rise above that, you got to give yourself kudos, my guy. You do. It is very difficult to be able to navigate through life while figuring out what you want to do. And that's why so many people get stuck in bad relationships and toxic environments, because they don't really know where they're going next. But you trusted the process. And I do believe great things are going to happen to you and for you and in your life. I believe that.
I appreciate that. I've one of the most significant things. I mean, it's not like a Nobel Peace Prize or some type of financial gain, but one of the greatest things that I believe will withstand the test of time, no matter how old I get, is this immense sense of gratitude that I have for the simplest of things. Being in an environment that was so dark, um, something as simple as it being warm outside, or being able to stay on this live with you, and being able to eat when I want to eat and go to sleep when I want to go to sleep, and even just seeing the amount of appreciation that was not present for my family, it's all very heightened now. I mean, just you coming on here, having this conversation, to the average person, this just may be two people, just talking, but to me, it looks like freedom of mind to be able to entertain these ideas for as long as we want to, means a lot to me. That's why I don't have anything to say. I'm so immersed in this moment. That's why I don't save my lives no more. Because it's like you trying to save your graduation and show it to your family later. It's not the same unless you're there while it's happening.
What I realized is when I first got out, I was trying my best because my daughter was 8 weeks. She was 8 weeks when I got sentenced, and I had to get out to a whole 11-year-old and figure out who this person was, and how they thought in their mindset. And she was broken. She was broken. She didn't have a mother. She didn't have a father. Granted, my family got her, but she endured the same type of emotional trauma that I did, and it was very, very extremely difficult trying to figure out how I was going to help this individual, this child, get them to the highest potential that they could be. And I'm dead inside myself. I'm broken, right? And it's a process. It's unrealistic to think that someone, whether it's getting out of prison, aging out of foster care, leaving a cult, to think that everything's going to be okay within a week. It takes years to deprogram. I still have a hard time walking around on carpet because I'm so used to cement. My partner and I get into it a lot because he, she is well transitioned from female to male when we were incarcerated, and sometimes we both do things that are still very institutionalized. Just everything, and sometimes the gratitude is everything because you still feel like, I can't believe I'm here. I cannot believe I'm laying in my own bed. I can't believe I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock for count time. I cannot believe I can go in my refrigerator and get whatever I want. It's just a great feeling. But then, like I said, you have those moments where you're not really sure. And that's just deprogramming. And it takes a lifetime to be able to get through that. You have to unravel everything that you've been wrapped up in. And so that is why I say it's going to take the girls a minute, especially with them, because they've been more influenced than anyone. It's going to take them a while to be able to realize. I would have thought that with Zoka being in DeKalb County, that she would have gotten a little bit of something, because she's around regular people, right? She's been around the cult for all this time, so now she's in DeKalb County where she's around normal people and average people, so she can hear average people talk about average life things, right? Yeah, it's PTSD. That's exactly what it is. It's post-traumatic stress disorder, and most of the time it never goes away. It never goes away, especially if you don't see somebody get their head hurt, bangs, just anything that has happened. It's hard to unsee those things, and sometimes it's hard. Like me, I don't like a whole lot of loud noise. I keep my door closed. There's a thing on TikTok about who sleeps with their door closed. Me, and locked. Because it's just a post-traumatic stress disorder thing, and it doesn't go away. You just learn how to deal with it. The same thing as grief. It never goes away. You learn how to weather it. But I would have thought Zoka got a little bit of something when she was in the cab. But it seemed like she came right back out and got on the mark. So I think with her, it's gonna be the hardest to break. I think with her, she's gonna be the hardest one, because she's impressionable, but she's very, very strong-headed too. She's very strong-minded. I see that about her. Efru too. Efru has that syndrome where she's gonna do whatever it takes to feel accepted, because we all see that she was at the bottom of the totem pole when it came to Bishop. He treated her just like the maid servant that she was, right? But in her mind, the way her mind works is, I gotta go harder. Because one day I know I'm gonna have that queen position. I know that I'm gonna be on top because I have been the most loyal, and I've been down with him, and I've done everything he told me. And that's what her mindset is. Especially a lot of them when they were young. Same thing as prison. I went when I was 19. I don't remember maturing until I was about 26. I finally stopped getting in trouble. I finally stopped going to the hole. I finally stopped fighting all my girlfriends when I was about 25 or 26. And I was just like, yeah, it's time for me to grow up. Even when I got out, I still realized I was immature because I had been conditioned to act a certain way, and I realized the stuff that I was doing there is not gonna fly out here. So with them, it's a matter of them getting in a position where they are not able to do whatever it is they're doing. even the reaching out on social media, when the funds stop, because the money gonna stop. It will. It's gonna stop. People are not gonna keep supporting somebody that they're not gonna go home. And it was a very valid point where you said that they would follow after Charles Manson, and it's true. They very well might be able to. Yeah, the mind developed. It's true. It literally didn't hit me until I was 26 that I needed to grow up. But the way they are now, they're gonna follow behind. But I think all it's gonna take for them to hear that he's with a man, he's gonna have to cut them off. He's gonna have to the same way you just said that he told Jackson Juju that they weren't needed. He's gonna have to tell them that. And when they realize that he's not coming back, and when he tells them that they are, because right now they are all he got, so he gonna cling on to them. And if they're not producing no funds because he's a narcissist, they are needed. But once he discards them, see what's gonna happen is he gonna find him a boyfriend in there, and the boyfriend gonna have some family members that take real good care of him. Meaning that it's gonna be somebody in there that got money, and they're gonna be able to fund his lifestyle, fund his cigarettes, fund his drugs, fund his phones, and everything else. When they are able to provide for him what those girls can't, he's going to discard them, because that's what narcissists do. And once he tells them that their services are no longer needed, that's when the breaking point is going to happen. He's not going to do it for a while. It's going to be a year or so, because he's going to drag them on for a while. He's going to drag them on for a couple of years to make his.
I ain't even finna hold y'all, but I definitely see Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy, aka Chief Papa John Hot Pocket, aka Chief Administrative Segregation, aka Chief Life plus 10 years without the possibility of parole, stringing them along just to make himself feel special or important.
A year or so, because he's gonna drag them on for a while. He's gonna drag them on for a couple of years to make himself feel important. But once he gains, some status in there, he's not gonna need them. And quite frankly, he's gonna be happy with whoever he's with, and then they'll get the picture. But right now, no.
I didn't think about that dynamic, because knowing Eligio Bishop's mindset and his value with people being only tied to what they can do for him and how he can use them, if he finds a replacement for what those women are offering, then he would not have any need to go the extra mile and put in all this effort to keep them around. I never considered that. And I wanted to ask you in regards to the communication. I know you may have heard that, you might have heard me say it, and you might have heard them say it in the courtroom, that he was able to stay on the phone with them constantly. I know that he was on the phone with them between the hours of 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., then again between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Is this type of communication available in prison?
So he was in DeKalb County, the same county that sentenced me. So yeah, they you can be on the phone back to back. Other people do have to use the phone, but for the most part, he obviously was in a dorm where a lot of people didn't use the phone, and then they'll cut it off for a couple hours when you go in for lockdown, and they change the shifts, and then he can get back out and get on it. He was paying for them, but they 15-minute calls, so he was doing them consecutively. But in prison, you can get an actual phone. You can buy a phone, and it's not anything fancy. It might be a Android or a Samsung or something, but it's communication, and he will be able to get on social media and stuff. But what I heard on the trial is that he is not to be on social media. I heard the judge specifically tell him that those were the terms, that he could not parade or do whatever it was on social media. So if they find out he have a phone, which I think he's going to do it anyway, because he's already got life without parole. He don't have shit to lose. So he's going to do it anyway, because social media is his muse. Get the tablets too, but you can't talk on the phone with them. They're just for like music, right? He's going to get a phone. He's gonna have to have one, because it's gonna feed his ego. And yeah, the girls are not going to serve any significant purpose in his life. They're not going to. He's never going to see them again. He's not going to get no conjugal visits. They're not going to be able to come see him. The cord is already disconnected now, because it's been disconnected since he's been with the county. One thing about it, Eligio Bishop is a narcissist, right? So he knew he wasn't coming home. He knew that. He knew once he turned down the plea deal, he was not going to come home. He was not going to come in because in the Georgia Department of Corrections, if you decide to go to trial and that costs these taxpayers all this money, they're going to give you the maximum, right? For me, I was sentenced to 20 years served, 10 in prison. My first plea was a 10-7. I was 17 when they offered me that. I turned it down. They offered me a straight 12 when I was 18. I turned that down too. And they said, this is your last plea. If you don't take this, you're going to get life. Because I had armed robbery. I didn't hurt nobody. I was 16, but I had armed robbery, which is one of the 7 deadly sins in Georgia. He has grape, right? So that is definitely grounds for him to doing a 10 mandatory minimum. So he already knew once he turned that plea deal down that he was not going to get anything less than 20 years. And I do believe that he understands the terms of life without parole. I do believe that he knows that his appeal is not going to go through. It's very rare that you win an appeal, right? You had people go back and get a sentence modification. You've had people go back and get their stuff overturned from death row to life without. But with him, this is where Eligio messed up at, and this is why I go back to the micro expressions. It wasn't the videos that they show, because one thing about it, the judge gonna do her research before she decided to make a decision. I'm sure the jurors did the same thing before they decided to make a decision, right? Because you're gonna want to do your background on who this person that I'm about to sentence, who is this individual. I'm sure she went on YouTube and watched all kind of videos on him. And yes, y'all testimonies aided, but inevitably it was his disposition, his lack of accountability, and just his overall demeanor of being in the courtroom is what made a determining factor of that lady sentencing him to what he did. And the fact that he was so arrogant and he was so ego driven that he thought he was above everybody else to be able to say, you know what, I don't want to be in here if she got COVID. And she probably saw the videos where he didn't even believe in COVID. So make it make sense. All of those were a determining factor of him not having favor, no one having favor with him when he got sentenced. And so he's not coming home. Like, I wish I could just go on those girls live and tell him, y'all don't waste y'all money on no lawyer. He's not coming back. And he's going to be very, very comfortable where he is. He's going to be comfortable. And what's going to happen is maybe like at the year or so, they're not going to have a number, because he's going to have a phone and they're not going to have a number for him. He's going to block them. And how it works in prison is, if you with somebody, he's going to have a very feminine man. He's going to have a very, very feminine, a feminine acting man as his main person. And if that person is the one that's supplying all his money and supplying all of his needs and making sure that he get whatever he needs, they're going to tell him, you need to cut them girls off. If you want to be with me, y'all don't need no communication. They're not. The only way he'll be able to keep them is if they're sending him money, because that's all that is valued in prison. How much commissary you have, how much food you have, how many phones you can get. That's your currency in there. So if you don't have anyone that can give you that, then there's no reason to have them. And so if they're not bringing it, which I don't foresee any of them going to work a 9 to 5 to provide for him. I don't foresee that for those girls, because they don't have the mind frame to be able to do that. But the person that he's with, the main one, he's going to have about 4 or 5, but the main one's going to tell him, cut them off. And guess what? He knows this is his life, and this is where he's going to be at. So he's going to cut them off, and there's going to be no contact. It ain't even going to be he going to tell them. It's just going to be one day they're going to try to call and the number don't work. It's going to be just like that, because once you in prison, you get so engulfed in that lifestyle that you don't care what's going on the outside. When I was in prison, I didn't care about nothing that was going on. I didn't care nothing about politics. I didn't care about nothing that was going on, because I was so busy worrying about if my girlfriend was in another dorm sleeping with somebody, because that's our life. But imagine Love and Hip Hop Prison Edition. That's what prison is for the women, like, and for the men too, because every day it's gonna be some gossip about who don't like who. It's gonna be some gossip about who cheating on their boyfriend with who in whatever dorm. It's gonna be some gossip about these people finna get ready to fight. You know, we need to go to the store. We need to go to the yard because it's supposed to be a fight going on there. It's that we are in our own little world, and it's going to be absolutely perfect for him because he lives in a fantasy land anyway. I don't know the way to explain it. He's right where he belongs.
So you didn't seem to hesitate at all when it came towards the group of people that Eligio Bishop would target and the group of people Eligio Bishop would belong to. What makes you, what would you say to the guys who believe that Eligio Bishop is some type of, boss or gangster and leader in the sense that we would expect, from maybe the movies?
So he's hot. He's new. He's gonna be again. High profile cases mean something. I don't know if you remember, but on Forensic Files, it was a lady on there named Lynn Turner. She is the one. She had a Snap episode. She had a Forensic Files episode. She was here in Georgia, in Cobb County. She is the one that put the antifreeze in her husband's food, right? She put the antifreeze. She unalived her boyfriend by putting antifreeze in they iced tea, and she did her husband the same way. So when I first got to prison, she was in there, and she was going back and forth to the law library every day, saying she's gonna get this case overturned every day because she wanted to go. She was getting out, but they was about to exhume her grandmother's body because they feel like she had unalived her grandmother the same way. She had a high superiority because of her high profile case, because she had a case on the news. She had several platforms, telling her story. And one day we were all locked in. I was probably about 20 at the time. One day I heard all the doors slamming. We was at Metro State Prison, and they was closing the doors, and they was like, everybody, they locked us down for hours because at this time it was time for us to get up for breakfast, but they locked us in our room. So none of us didn't know what was going on. I was in a 6-man room with six women. Well, 6 including me. And then they opened the doors and told us all to evacuate to the gym. And so when we got to the gym, everybody was talking, and I was like, what is going on? And they was like, well, they say Lynn Turner dead. And I was like, what? I just seen her in the law library day for yesterday. So apparently she had her family, because she had 2 young children. She had 2 smaller kids, and they said that she had visitation the night before. So they had found her in her bed, unalived, and she was unresponsive, and she had been that way for a while. And so the people that were in the room with her, they locked them down, and they basically said, the GBI had to come and investigate. So some people said that the roommates gave her stuff and made her, because they didn't want her in the room. And then some people said that she had got some pills from her family the night before because she just didn't want to be in there. I don't believe that she got them from her family because she was fighting her case, because she really genuinely believed that she was about to get out, right? But that made the news because she was such a high profile case prior to going to prison. So with him, he's definitely going to gravitate more towards that audience because of who he is out here. Even if we don't see him nothing as a narcissistic bum, in there he's a celebrity because he's been on the news. In there he is popular because he had 4 or 5 wives, and he had guys up under him. You know what I'm saying? He have documentaries and stuff on him. So that's a quote unquote prison celebrity. So he's going to be hot for a while. And you got to realize a lot of men are already gay, right? And Eligio, I do believe that he's one of the ones that is. A lot of them are already like that. So when you are incarcerated and you're gonna be here for the rest of your natural life, you're gonna get with the program because there's nothing else for you to do. Unless you get a guard, unless you get a woman that is willing to bring you stuff in, and you get a little girlfriend, but that don't last for so long because eventually somebody gonna get mad, somebody gonna tell, she gonna get fired, and it's gonna be on to the next. So that never is something that's long lasting. But those men, those boys that you be up under, they're gonna be there forever. So we don't have a sense of sexuality in prison, if that makes sense. Like if you go in there, you somebody that maybe likes women or likes men, and you haven't really been vocal about it, it's gonna come out. And even if you don't, you're going to get with the program because you don't have nothing else to do. So I cannot name not one person, maybe one person that went to, that was incarcerated with me, that didn't get a girlfriend, that didn't go to the other side if they wasn't gay. Because one thing about women who, and I said this on one of my TikToks, if you go in there as a woman, you're not gay, you're gonna start liking the male presenting woman because they are the closest thing to a man to you. They look good. You know what I'm saying? And right now you miss. I want this masculine presenting woman. I think she cute. I want to see if I'm gay. Then you go from that to being the ultimate lesbian because you don't have nothing else to do. And it's the same thing with men. Some of those trans men be fine. They be looking like more feminine than me, like real women. And guess what? Those men, after a while, they like that. Some of them already like that, but they was more worried about what society had to say, so it didn't matter. But when they in there, ain't nobody judging nobody because everybody doing it.
Well, let me rephrase the question here.
Okay.
No, you got. I'm glad you gave us that narrative, that understanding. In regards to the traditional boss that we would see in maybe a Hollywood movie or something like that, where it's this guy and he's running the prison and he got these other guys doing everything for him. Do you think that Eligio Bishop would be able to replicate that, or would he be exclusively limited to the LGBT community?
Long and short, it's definitely going to be majority LGBTQ because you have men in there that already have statuses. They already have gangs in there. They already have whoever they with. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be limited to LGBTQ or like nerds, like the pick me's, the ones that are like they want to do whatever to fit in, the lost souls, basically Juju and Jax. So it'll be straight guys like that. He'll definitely have those, the ones that are real good with phones, the ones that can show him how to download stuff. If he's any type of literate with any type of device, it's you got some real smart guys now. You got some tech guys in there. He's gonna have those type of individuals under his team. And he's gonna have the LGBTQ community for sure. He's not gonna have the hardcore dudes that's in there, that was somebody on the streets. He's not gonna have those. He ain't smart enough. He ain't smart enough, and he's not likable. He's not a very likable. And see, again, Leo is a narcissist, right? So a narcissist with a narcissist mindset, they think that no one is above them. So they're not even going to try to go for someone that is of high rank because they can't beat them, because in their mind, they the best to ever do it. So he has no choice but to recruit weak people. He'll get the tech nerds. He may even have a white boy on his team, right? He may have a white boy that want to be black, right? And nobody else will accept him. So he might take him under his wing and manipulate him. But he's not going to get no average hood nigga. No, absolutely not. They're gonna look at him and laugh. Remember when he was on that boat and he had them Timbs on with that all white? We was gagging on Bingo because we like, why is this man on a whole boat with Timbs on? And the way that we look at him, like when he was just doing crazy stuff, like he was like, Malia, take my chain off. We like, bruh, because he's about to jump in the water. He's like, get my chain, Malia. If it's real, you ain't got to take it off. Why are you taking the chain off if it's real? You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that he's not looked at as a powerful person. He looked at as a joke. To someone with some sense, he's looked at as a joke. So when he go in prison, it's gonna be this. First of all, it's very smart men in prison, right? So trust and believe. They know he on the way. They know that he's coming to prison. They already knew that when he went through diagnosis. So a lot of them already know who coming before he come. They already know who he is as a person. So they're not gonna deal with him no way, and they're gonna look at him as weak because he had all of these people up under his wing, and no one gained anything. No one gained anything. Like Malachi York still got followers to this day. You know why? Because they felt that they gained something from being under his knowledge. They felt like the system corrupted him because he was speaking the truth about, however black people were treated. Eligio has none of that. He has no knowledge about, you know what I'm saying, the demise of the black community. He is basically a leader of a sex cult. That's it. He has nothing that can go back, and no one can cross-reference anything about him changing the narrative or perspective of what they think about as the black man. He has nothing to go back and cross-reference what is how to treat your black woman and how to communicate effectively black family. He doesn't have anything saying how him as an individual or him as a leader changed the narrative and perspective of the white person and how society sees the black person is today. There is nothing that he has that someone wants to go back and cross-reference and say, damn, he was a legend. This nigga was great. Nobody thinks that but Malia them. Nobody thinks that he was falsely persecuted, but them. No one with any right mind, not a college scholar, not someone that's been in corporate America for 20 years, no politician is saying, you know what, they snatched that man off the street and he was changing lives out here. He was making a difference in the black community. He was making a difference. He was the epitome of what a black man needs to be. Not said nobody. Nobody ever said that. He is looked at as someone that has sexually assaulted people, individuals, used and manipulated people for his own personal gain, and that is frowned upon regardless of whether it's inside a prison institution or whether it's at a schoolyard. He is not someone that someone can look at one day and say, you know what, I want my child to be like him. He didn't do it. You're right. He didn't do a damn thing but make himself look stupid and make people feel sorry for the individuals that got up under his wing. That's it. There's
Man,
nothing about him that says I want to be like Eligio Bishop. One day, when you look him up 20 years from now, all you gonna see is those charges that he got and all the bad stuff. That Efru said we're gonna show some good videos because all they want to show is the bad stuff about him. Because baby, that's the algorithm. That's the narrative that he has painted. He's a bad person. You can show all the good stuff you want to, but nobody's gonna forget all of y'all that stood up there and testified against this man and how bad of an individual he was. That's gonna override everything. Your reputation, you have to guard it at all costs.
man, see, I'm glad you're up here because, like I said earlier, what you read and what you seen never overshadows what a person has experienced. And so I'm glad you're presenting this understanding as to the mindset of someone behind bars because some of us don't know. And I know that Hollywood doesn't always paint the most accurate picture because its motive is for entertainment value. But what you did for me is you helped me realize that not everyone behind bars is just this mindless, brainless animal that doesn't need to be around the rest of society. But in prison, there is a real standard of morals. And Instagram don't give you the countdown no more. They just cut you off. But we back. I hope she doesn't have any affairs to tend to. But we definitely looking forward to being educated by Divine Lotus. Whenever there she go. All right. Let's pick up where we left off. If you want to. Not mandatory. But everybody's looking forward to you continuing on. Let me know when you're ready.
Interested in a great read? Check out Greatness is a Habit authored by Aaron Dixon, also known as True. Many of you know him as True. He has authored this amazing read. The book is available on Apple Books. Get your copy today and stay motivated to win.
To you continuing on. Let me know when you're ready. If you gotta use the bathroom or get something to eat, go ahead. But I'm glad that she clarified. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. Yo, I don't don't think that page blocked, Dre.
Hey.
Okay. Hey, okay, we back. We
Yeah.
back. Let me know if you got some other fairs to attend to. But we're gonna try to get as much out of you as we can.
You good?
But
Listen, when I be at work, I be like if I see your live pop up, I just listen to it. Sometimes I can always see, or I go back on Lisa Said So and rewatch it. Look, I see some of my friends on here. Hey, Scooby. I be listening to it. So if I can't catch it that day, I'm definitely gonna see it later because I definitely like your insight too. And I know a lot of us be in the comments saying stuff, but it's true. Like we can't really take other people's perspective for face value because they so they still so conditioned. But with you, it's like you really you giving us the insight, but then we hearing your perspective too, of like how it affected you. So I think this is vital information for everybody. It's stuff that's interesting, and we wanna know it. We wanna hear it.
well, I want to say that I don't want everybody to be so focused on me because I personally believe that everybody has a story and it's the only story of its kind. Literally, your life has never been lived before and it will never be lived again. The fact that you came up here and spoke, you offered me some valuable information that might have been withheld had you not decided to do this. And like I said, navigating the internet can be very, very confusing because if I go online and I say, "Are apples bad?" Shoot, it's gonna be 100 articles that say don't eat apples. It's gonna be 100 articles that say eat apples every day. But what I'm learning to rely upon is the direct and personal experience of a person. I feel like that's where all knowledge is learned, and then therefore it may be transformed into video form or written text. But I feel like all knowledge stems from your personal experience. And so I wanted to tell you again that I appreciate you offering insight to the workings of prison because I don't have anything to go off of. I never been up in there. I never been up in there. I don't know how people actually operate, but it is refreshing to know that somebody like Eligio Bishop's character is obvious and that his manipulation techniques won't work on people in there, and that even the people in prison who he claimed to be quote unquote real people don't see him in the same light that he tried to get us to feel like he would be seen. And I'm glad to know that there's brothers behind bars who even behind bars won't violate their code like Eligio Bishop violated his code on numerous occasions. I'm glad that there's brothers who are intelligent enough to know that this type of person is in fact a joke. And I'm glad that you're coming up from somebody who was on the inside of prison because I feel like maybe somebody who believes Eligio Bishop is actually somebody important and somebody who is respectable may begin to second guess that belief because of what you said.
I appreciate that. You have like like you know I work in a corporate setting now, right? And sometimes the divide is there, and but everybody's not going to see the divide. Again, I believe that you have leaders, followers, and those that are in between. And when you are incarcerated, you are going to you're going to know the leaders, and you're going to know the ones that are followers, and then you're going to know the ones that aren't. They don't pick a side. They kind of just they're neutral. And it's not. See, I believe in karma more than anything. I believe that what you put out, you will get it. Karma is a universal law for every religion, every spiritual belief, anything that, even in science, physics, karma is the number one law. Whatever you put out, you shall get back, right? And so my theory with Eligio is, yes, he will be someone that is still able to bring in impressionable people, but I also think he's going to meet his match because he has had people up under his wing that he has been unkind to, people that he has probably deceived and used and emotionally, physically, and mentally abused, right? And so now you're in an environment where it's dog eat dog. You're going up against all type of individuals. Now people that are tougher than you. See, Eligio fake tough. That's the whole thing. He fake hard, but you got, you know, dudes in there that's done, they got 4 or 5 bodies. They bout that. You know, they popping it because that's just who they is for real. And he's gonna have to go up against that, whether it's him being in some type of interaction where he don't get his money or somebody play him, they try him. He got to go get his back in, and he got to be tough enough to be able to stand up to these guys, right? And one thing about somebody that's real tough, you can see the coward in people. You can see it. It's a feeling that you get when someone is a real live coward, right? They gonna see that in him, and he gonna have to go against somebody tough. Because it's been situations when I've been in prison where I done got into stuff just based off of me being with somebody, hanging with somebody, or being around somebody, and I had to, you know, do whatever was necessary. But with the men, it's different because they all about their money, and that he might want to watch something on TV, or he might want to do something or gamble on a game or whatever the case is. And if he don't get paid, he gonna want to go check somebody. And guess what? He's gonna get the same treatment that he's giving everyone else. All that trying to make people feel small, it's gonna be somebody in there that's gonna make him feel real small. So everything that he's put out, he's going to get back. The sentencing, that's just the beginning of the karma. That's the top of the karma, and it's all because he consciously chose to start a cult. And to me, it's not even about starting a cult. It's not even about the cult in general. It's about the message that you put out, the false narrative that you put out, and it's about the way that you wanted people to perceive whatever this movement was, whatever this thing that you had created, that you had birthed, whatever it was that you had decided was going to be the greatest thing of all time. The image that you put out there, the perception, and how it was a false narrative. That is where the karma comes in, there, because it was based off unauthenticity. It was based off of something. It was based off of a narcissistic mindset. It was, you know, because I've read all kind of books too. You know, like me personally, I don't watch stuff like true crime. I don't watch prison show. I've never seen an episode of Orange is the New Black. I've never seen an episode of Whitworth. I don't watch that type of stuff because I had to live it, right? I don't watch those type of things because I know, like you said earlier, it's based off of for entertainment purposes only. Because you know what? Those prison shows, they might show a little something, but they don't show the single mothers that are in there that have decided to go to college so they can get some time cut off their sentence and go home and be with their kids. They don't show the individuals that have to go up to the chaplain's office to hear that they last living kin has died, has passed away. They don't show how, you know, someone comes in there and finds out that they have stage 4 cancer and have to, you know, live the rest of their life out in an infirmary or go home on a medical reprieve. They don't show those type of things. They only show the bad things because they want us to be conditioned to think that this is a place for just bad people. But you do have innocent people in there. You do have individuals that are wrongfully accused. Eligio Bishop is not one of them. He is not someone that is falsely accused. And if you honestly think that these people are going to take their taxpayers' money to take this man back to court, and they know he's guilty, and they know he's someone that deserved to be in there, and it's people that's in there that got probable cause and got evidence that they innocent and they ain't out, what make you think you finna be even remotely able to get on the list? It's not happening. And I just feel like because even with me, even with my public speaking platform, I don't like the idea of my platform being solely based off of my prison experience, right? I like it to be based off of what happened post getting out. I like for people to know, yes, the system is so corrupted that they don't have anything set up for individuals that are returning citizens, because most of us end up homeless or in destitute situations because of lack of financial gains or financial stability. You know, they don't talk about how it's certain women that fight to get their kids back in their custody, or fight to stay sober because they've had, they've been drug addicts for so long, and then it's so hard. You have what you call Oh, and this is somebody else that I think Alihio might get up under. He might catch him a repeat offender, right? Because those repeat offenders are usually people that are on drugs, and when they get out, society is too hard for them. Society is too difficult for them to navigate, right? So they come right back to prison. They love it in there. You have them, they come in there, they stay out for about 6 months, they take a couple pictures, and then they come back and then they show the pictures off to the people that, you know, been locked up or been locked up since the 90s. You have people that's been in there since the 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know nothing about social, they don't know nothing about nothing. Because some of the older people that are in there, although they may have access to a phone, they may not have funds. Because their families may have died or their families may have, you know, passed on. They just don't have any outside support. And with him, he may very well attach himself to a repeat offender because he know when that person get out, they're gonna come back and be loyal to him. They know that when he get out, when they get out and come back, oh, I know this person's gonna be down for me. I know this person's gonna make sure I'm good. Like, especially if it's somebody that get up under him and they might not have a life sentence, right? They might have a year or so. And if they get out and send them cards or send them money and stuff, that's automatic loyalty. And then they might go in, they might get locked back up, they might go out and relapse and come back in, and then that's his minion. That's his person that's gonna be down for him, no matter what. Because I know if this dude leave and come back right now, he gonna have my back when he come in. I know he gonna come back with $2,000 on his book because he a hustler. I know, you know, he gonna go to rehab and get clean, and then he gonna relapse again and come back. And I know this person's gonna take care of me. So he'll have one of those people on his team too. It may not be many of them, but he'll have one of those definitely, because the repeat offenders are lost too. A lot of them are lost because they either don't want to navigate life, they don't want to because it's too difficult for them, or they don't know how.
Okay, let me ask you this, right? So when we joined Carbonation based upon the advertisement and the marketing campaign, most of us joined because of the community. We joined because of the environment. A lot of us have only seen those types of places in pictures and videos. And also, we came thinking that this person was also like us, who wanted to be peaceful and who wanted to learn information that wasn't traditionally taught in the education system. But what would Eligio Bishop offer these people in prison?
That's a good question. The sense of feeling like they are important. Again, it goes back to individuals who have lacked um, love, self-love. They've lacked attention from a spouse or parents growing up. And so being someone that comes from a abandonment background, right? Okay, I'm gonna put it like this, right? When I first got in, and this is crazy because I wasn't going to share this, but I think it's necessary. So when I went in, I was 19. And I didn't have any type of guidance. I ran the streets a lot, you know, but because I didn't feel like I was accepted anywhere. I didn't feel like I was wanted. So, okay, I went in bigger, and then in the county waiting to go, because it took me 6 months to get shipped to prison. So I sat in the county, in DeKalb County, 6 months, and I had lost a lot of weight. And then I got a diagnosis, and you do all that marching and, you know, cadence calling and stuff, and you lose weight then because you're sweating in the sun all day marching. So I was feeling myself by the time I was getting ready to go to prison. And I found myself in a relationship. I was in a relationship with a masculine presenting female, and it was five of us. It was five of us. It was me and four other girls, and I was the one that and those of y'all that know BG, y'all know who I'm talking about. My friends that's on here, I'm talking about BG. My girlfriend at the time had a life sentence. She still does. She has a life sentence, so she wasn't going anywhere. So she was very comfortable with her lifestyle, and she knew how to pick us. She knew how to get us the ones that and it's not that she did anything extraordinary, but she made me feel important because I was the one that cooked her food. I was the Aya to her, basically. I was Aya. What Aya was to Leo, that's what I was to my girlfriend. I was the one that cooked the food, that washed the clothes, that made sure everybody was good. But I was always in my feelings because he might go get another girl and make her his main. And I was still just the one in the wings waiting. I was still the one just waiting for my turn, waiting for my time to be number one. But I was the one that he messed with behind closed doors. I was the one that he, I say he because that's what we call the women in prison. I was the one that, I was the one that took the charges for him. Like if his room got raided, if they had a shakedown, I was the one that took the fall and with the lockdown. I was down for him, but it was four of us, and each one of us had a role, right? But I give you that narrative to say that it wasn't anything extraordinary that she was offering to any of us, but we all felt important. We all felt like there was an important role, and it was like we kept waiting. It was almost like climbing a rope and waiting to get to the top, but we never quite reached the top. You know what I'm saying? So it was what he whispered to us behind closed doors. You really number one, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You the one that's been down for me since day one. You ain't went nowhere. These other hoes ain't showed me no loyalty, but you ain't never went nowhere. So it's holding on to that little bit of, you know, I'm eventually gonna be number one that kept me there. And that's what he's
So
gonna
now I'm glad you put that into perspective because I know a lot of us understand when it comes to human needs that we all need things like food, shelter, and water. But I think a lot of our psychological needs go overlooked because the need to belong is just as important as water. Like, not even an exaggeration. And when you tied it back to childhood, it's amazing what you can get somebody to do when you're able to fulfill those psychological needs. Like if you never felt important growing up, that could be gold for somebody who is in the business of manipulating. And,
that's
and
it.
I'm glad that you shared that story because I try to get people to understand that although carbonation looks very bizarre, if you look careful and close enough, you can find the nature boy in your life, and you can find a Malia and a Aya in you as well. It's
Hey y'all, I'm back with yet another amazing book that is available for pre order. This book is titled The Tribe of Judah Experience. It is authored by Elizabeth, and she was indeed a member of this tribe/cult. She finally breaks her silence and speaks her truth. If you are interested in being one of the first people to have this book, go on ahead and contact Liz on IG and be sure to tell her that Medaya sent you.
an Aya in you as well. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how when we don't get something as children, we end up searching for it in other ways until that need is met. And some people, some of us, we search for it until the day we die. You know, if your dad wasn't there, you look for a dad for the rest of your life. If your mom wasn't there, you look for your mother for the rest of your life. If you was never told you was beautiful, the first guy that said you pretty, you giving them everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you was told you was dumb your whole life, the first female that tell you intelligent, you breaking your back to keep her. And although, like I said, I will continue to say this, that although you look at carbonation and say, man, I could never, if you look careful enough, you are. You are. Some of the main people that talk about I could never are actually they are right now, this moment, breaking their back for their boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that it's not it's easy to look at somebody else's perspective and say, damn, I ain't no way I'll join a cult. If had he not been so fat phobic, I would have been on the first thing getting to Puerto Rico. You know why? Because I hadn't gotten out that mindset that I felt like I needed to be needed. I felt like outcast in society. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I fit in because now the aesthetics have changed. You know, I went in 2008, so now everything done changed. Everybody, and it's just like now I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I belong, and it is it's it's finding who you are spiritually and figuring out what you can do to have the highest form of self-love. I've learned over time that self-love is key to a lot of things, because the love that we're looking for in other people, or other people to give us, we have to give ourselves first. And as soon as you can figure out how to give yourself that self-love, when you choose you first, so many things start to shift in your life. So many different perspectives, things, encounters, the people, the networks that you're around, it starts to shift. And a lot of times we are afraid to give ourselves that self-love because we have been told all our life that we don't have the perfect body, or we like you said, we stupid, or we dumb, or we're not good enough. And it ultimately boils down to people feeling like they're not good enough. And it happens to everyone. It happens to men, it happens to women, it happens to children. So no, I have never and will never judge anyone based off of what I see, because the only difference between Carbonation and everyone else that is weathering this thing called life is the fact that we knew what you all were going through, because it was pretty much open to the public. It was information that was open to the public. We saw you all on social media. That's the only difference. But it's people behind closed doors that would never even admit to going through stuff like that, or would be embarrassed to. So I think it's a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's very noble that you all were able to be so vulnerable even post Carbonation, right? Because if I think the old me would have been embarrassed to even show my face again after knowing I've been in a cult with a psychopath, right? But to be able to rise up and say, this is what I went through, and how everyone doesn't have the ability to say, teach me how you got through that. Show me what it is, or what was your mindset to be able to say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm walking away. This is too much for me, and this is something that I no longer want to do. I don't like the idea of being under your spell, Alihio Bishop. I'm leaving. It's over with. It's done for me, and I choose me. Everyone's not going to be able to say, how can I do that? How were you able to do that? And I'm asking you, Aaron, how or what was and I think I asked you this in a chat one time, but I don't know if I got the answer. What was the breaking point for you, and what was it that gave you the strength to be able to say, this is the end for me? I no longer want this.
Have you checked out our new merch? Support the Medaya movement, where comfort is our main goal. Let your wardrobe be a reflection of your finesse and personal flair. With every thread woven with care, our apparel is designed to not just look great, but feel great too. We believe in celebrating every body type with our diverse range of stylish, high-quality clothing. We are not just selling merch, we're curating confidence, ensuring you step out in style every single day. Experience the blend of fashion-forward trends and timeless classics in our collections. And with our inclusive sizing, you'll find the perfect fit that makes you feel confident and fabulous. Embrace the Medaya movement experience today. Shop now. The link is in the bio.
To say, this is the end for me. I no longer want this to be a part of my life.
So, as I continue to explore these questions and ask these questions and learn more, I believe my answers will change and they will get more refined. But where I am right now, I will always attribute it to him being arrested, because what him being arrested did, it stripped him of his ability to have constant 24 hours, 7 day a week influence. When you're constantly on the receiving end of somebody else speaking and somebody else's thoughts, there is no room for your own. But when he got arrested, that power was stripped away from him. And so between the hours of, 1 and 4, and also the hours of 8 all the way up until 10 the next day, I had to think for myself by default, because he was no longer there. And so what it allowed me to do was to reactivate my own logic and reasoning and realize that I had my own voice. and I actually had my own mind, and I had my own ability to critically think and examine things in a way that I had not done previously. Because I seen on this show I'm watching on Netflix, this girl said something, and had I not been through that experience, it probably wouldn't have meant nothing to me. But she said, in this environment, we can't be our best selves because we're too busy trying to survive. And that's what I feel like is a testament to the carbonation story, is that there was no need to be your best self. There was no time to be your best self because you're trying to do these basic things just to get to eating. Just so you'd quickly say, yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Just so you can go to sleep. Because you know that a disagreement could possibly end up meaning 3-4 hours of a back and forth. You know that if you disagree, that means that solar noon ain't happening at noon, but it about to be solar 5. So our critical reasoning faculties began to shut off, and our survival instincts became to take the forefront. But all of that changed when he got arrested, because guess what your boy started doing? Your boy started sleeping a little bit more than usual. I started eating a lot more than usual. I started having access to freedoms that wasn't there. Because remember, I want you guys to understand something very big, is that in carbonation, we was always around someone. A lot of y'all have moments where you like, I need some alone time, and you go get it. Alone time wasn't even a thing in carbonation for years. Even when I went out, it was me and Courtney. It was me and Dalen. You always had to have a battle buddy. So there was no true time. The irony behind it is that as much as we said reflection, it never happened. There was no time for self-reflection. That is very dangerous for anyone, to not have the option or the opportunity to question someone's thought process to the highest and deepest degree. So being in that garage, having the car to myself, not talking to nobody, not talking to anyone else, it allowed me to begin to question everything I was doing. Allegio Bishop would do things, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I was in jail. I wouldn't have the people who are supposed to be my students and my followers focused on these things if I was in jail. And so what I started doing is I started putting myself in Eligio Bishop's shoes, and then I began judging his decisions based upon what I would do. And time and time again, Eligio Bishop's decisions did not align with what I would do. And time again, Eligio Bishop's future plans did not align with what I saw for the future. And I started realizing this guy is not an empath. He's not intelligent. He
All right, y'all, go on ahead and drop me a comment, smash the heck out of that like button, and share. Thank you guys in advance.
doesn't have any psychic abilities or foresight, that he's literally just saying stuff just to be saying them. One of the things that really set me back was when Eligio Bishop asked me when I was going to have Kendra and Ja come back. And I'm in a garage when he asked me that question. I'm thinking to myself, why would I have Kendra and Ja leave the safety and comfort of their home to come live with me on a pallet in a hot garage? And in that moment, I said, Eligio Bishop doesn't care about me or my family. And also, Eligio Bishop is frivolously spending money so that Malia can have flowers every Sunday. And I'm like, he doesn't care about no lawyer, because you would want to reserve all your finances towards the things that actually matter. And so, time and time again, he showed me that he didn't care about his own life. And I asked myself, I like to call it God now, but God told me, he said, if this man don't care about his life, why should you? He told me that I need to be focused on writing books while I'm sleeping in the car and taking showers at a gym and washing my face and brushing my teeth at the gym sink. And so I realized in this moment, okay, Eligio Bishop is not smart. He's not intelligent. He doesn't have any care for other people. He just does and says things that he feels like will keep you attached to this future outcome, or what he likes to refer to as the end. And I also told myself, I said, you know what? If leaving Eligio Bishop means I'm going to hell, well, I'll deal with the devil when I get there. Because what I was currently living looked so much like hell that I might as well go for the real thing. I said hell couldn't be no worse than what I'm currently living, or what we have been living over the course of the last 4 years. So me and the devil probably gonna be best friends, because I prefer hell than Eligio Bishop's idea of heaven.
Wow. That that's deep. That's deep. That's that's deep. Whew. Um, I do have one more question I wanted to ask in the chat, but I don't think I had enough characters. So you how long did you serve in the military?
8 years.
Do you, because a lot of of the things that we practice in prison are also some of the things that they practice in the military, such as, like, how we maintenance ourselves, how we're required to dress, how the times we have to get up, how we eat. Most of the things are practiced because most of the staff there are ex-military. Do you feel like, because it's also although it's voluntary, it is also a environment where you are conditioned to be whatever they're telling you to do, or do whatever they're telling you to do, basically? Do you feel like being in there so long contributed to you needing or yearning for something more in life, which is what inevitably led you to carbonation? Like, okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, what after post-military was it that had you feeling like you needed more in life?
Well, prior to joining the military, let me go back to when I was 15. I used to get tired of the adults in my life telling me they ain't got no money. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make my own goddamn money then. So I went and worked a job at a grocery store, Piggly Wiggly, but I only lasted 5 days, because while I'm doing these meaningless tasks, I said to myself, I said, I'm meant for more than this. And so I quit. And before my mother died, one of her primary things for me was academic success and academic achievement. So my intentions after high school was to go to college. I went to college, but being in college, I realized that I'm doing this for somebody else. I'm doing this to please somebody else, and I don't really want to be here. So I dropped out of college. And as I'm out here trying to operate in the world, gambling, playing spades, shooting pool, drinking, smoking, I told myself, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So if I can't work a job, because I hate the idea of just trading my time and not getting any value out of it in exchange for money. And if I can't go to school, and I definitely ain't selling no drugs, because every Negro in my hood, or every Negro from my city, goes to jail. And I would be a fool to think that that's not going to be my outcome. So I can't sell drugs, I can't go to school, and I can't work a job. What do? Military. Father was in the military, grandfather was in the military, three of my uncles was in the military. This is a family legacy type thing. And if they could do it, shoot, I know I can do it. So I joined the military or whatnot. But after the military is over, I feel like no options are available. Because what else can you do in the world but get a job, go to school, and go to the military? And starting my own business seemed like something that was way too far fetched. And Carbon Nation presented an avenue for me to not only have a sense of belonging, but to also have a mission. And so that was my stance, and what made carbonation so appealing to me is that I thought it would provide those two dynamics that I felt like were of the greatest importance at the time. And to go further, I did excuse a lot of things in carbonation because I viewed it as a form of training. I didn't have an issue receiving orders because I understand the dynamics and the effectiveness of a chain of command. The general gives an order, and then you follow the orders because the general doesn't have time to explain itself. When you're on the battlefield, you have to move here, you have to move there, you have to do this, you have to do that, because you have to be conditioned to take orders. Because if you question everything you're being told, you can actually get killed from that, or you could also cause your brothers and sisters to be hurt because you disobeyed an order. So disobeying an order is something that in the military is attributed to some form of punishment. So I'm not going to blame the military, but I will say that I had a mindset that was trained to follow orders rather than question the orders I'm receiving.
Excellent answer. You tied that right in, because that is what I originally thought. I was like, out of all the people, I was like, I know that with him, it wasn't out of the ordinary to follow your command. I knew that. And even with like, I never said yes ma'am or no ma'am before I went to prison, and now I find myself saying it all the time. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just a habit that I had, and it's just something that I do. I still make up my bed every single day. Every day I get up and leave, I make up my bed. It was just certain things that I did that I didn't do prior to prison. It's just like a way of life for me now, and so I can definitely understand that part. And I I think a lot of people used to question, and it was actually a question that was asked often. It was like, why you? Why, if he was in the army, he surely can defeat Alihio.
Interested in a great read? Check out Greatness is a Habit authored by Aaron Dixon, also known as True. Many of you know him as True. He has authored this amazing read. The book is available on Apple Books. Get your copy today and stay motivated to win.
Army, he surely can defeat Alihio. And I used to be thinking to myself, it's not a physical thing, and people don't understand that it's not about the physicality of things. It's a mindset, and I don't know. It's very very refreshing to hear your perspective of things. I will refrain from asking you what I think about the individuals that are still currently involved, because again, you have reiterated more than once that that's their mindset, and that's their personal story, and it's you
No, I'm open to speak on the mentality, but I have no intention of degrading Aya and Malia and Zoka and Ephru. And if it is something that I feel like only they can talk about, I will. But if it's something that I witness, I will tell you. Because I don't think it's doing anybody any type of justice withholding the truth of what happened in carbonation. But I do know my boundaries
know.
in what I have seen and what I haven't seen, and I will not add anything to fluff up the story. But I want to touch on something else about the military that caused me to not feel any type of way about certain things that happen in carbonation. For example, in basic training, you're screamed on. You can go look at it on YouTube right now. When you get to basic training, you're screamed on a regular basis. So that didn't really bother me. And upon graduating basic training, I understood that the screaming and the yelling at you was not designed to degrade you, but it was designed to get your mindset able to perform underneath stress, because they can't shoot at you. They can't throw bombs. So the drill sergeants have to create a stressful environment so that your mind can still operate underneath these stressors, because warfare is one of the most stressful environments you'll ever be in. And you have to be able to listen and think underneath these stressors. But the problem with Eligio Bishop, and the different, because he would also try to use the military as a justification for what he was doing. The problem with carbonation and the significant difference is that in basic training, you graduate. In basic training, it is a time and place. It is not a constant. Eligio Bishop disguised his degradation and the way he communicated with people as if it was designed to build them up. But that was not the truth. But I did use my experience in basic training because I remember feeling a certain type of way, like, man, they keep yelling at us, bro. But after a while, I started liking it. I started appreciating it. I started at the end of graduation, everybody who was in the military, you actually love your drill sergeant. Like, man, that dude really gave his energy and his effort and his life and his time away from his kids and family to train me up and to build me into this strong person that I am. So I used to keep telling myself, man, I'm gonna get stronger because of this. I'm gonna be stronger because of this. I'm gonna be stronger because of this. If I make it through this, I'm gonna be stronger because that's what happened in the military. We went through some, at the time, some seemingly harsh things that on the other side we came out stronger. I remember trying to run a mile or 2 miles and I was about to die. But when I came out of basic training, I'm breezing through it like it wasn't nothing. So I kept telling myself over and over again that we are going to be stronger because of these hardships that we are being put underneath. And it was really hard for me to accept that this man had no intentions of building us up, that he was literally degrading us and abusing us just to be doing it.
Mm, mm. And to confirm, you do not believe that he read any books.
No, no. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I joke and say he can't read or whatnot, but I cannot confirm whether or not his abilities to manipulate are innate or if they were learned.
I I do believe that Eligio definitely took from some of the greats, whether that was via social media or books he had read, because I saw a little bit of influence from Taoism. I saw influence from the Islamic community. I saw a lot of different influence. Like every time he would rebrand, it would be influence from some type of religious background or cult background.
Let's go
I would.
through. Let's do it. So let's go through them, right? So Father Tahuti is Egyptian. Then you have he was commander in chief, which is military. Then he had Baba G, which is East India. Then you have what was he at? The Black Panther was just that boy just went straight to Marvel. And then you know the last three god was I don't know what that was, but he did pull from East Indian, Native Americans, African, Egyptian. He did try to take some type of solid foundation and spin it into his own version.
Mm-hmm. And it was very predictable. It was very predictable because even like again when I first started following carbonation, I noticed that's when he was calling himself Baba G, and I'm like, I've heard that before. I'm familiar with. Let me take my thing. I'm familiar with that.
Hey y'all, I'm back with yet another amazing book that is available for pre order. This book is titled The Tribe of Judah Experience. It is authored by Elizabeth, and she was indeed a member of this tribe/cult. She finally breaks her silence and speaks her truth. If you are interested in being one of the first people to have this book, go on ahead and contact Liz on IG and be sure to tell her that Medaya sent you.
Let me take my thing. I'm familiar with that that phrase, that term, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. With the three God, I really couldn't put my finger on it. But when he had on when he was doing cultural appropriation with the Native American head attire and everything else, I had already kind of felt that it was a game to him. But that was when I was really like, okay, so he's just imitating whatever he thinks. But I want to say this. I want to add this before I forget. Um, you ever? I don't know if you're into like female rap, right? But they always talk about because now female rappers are like, you know, very very popular, very socially acceptable. Versus 20 years ago, it may not have been as big. But they always argue about, oh, this girl stole my style, she stole my flow, she copied my whole swag, everything I did, she copied me, right? But see, what I've noticed is, remember, it goes back to when I said you have leaders, followers, and people in between. Those, but then you also have a certain type of individual that they don't, and usually we find this in narcissists, they don't have a personality. But those type of people are usually the ones to gain lots of success. They're the type of individuals to have a lot of things going for them in life financially, because they take on whatever personalities that at the time they deem acceptable, because they don't have a personality of their own. They mirror everything that someone else does. I can specifically recall growing up, I was very like quiet, because I got picked on really bad. So I was kind of quiet, but I would notice if I wore something in particular or did something, I would see some of the people that were really super popular imitate me or copy me. And a lot of times people take their personalities from a plethora of different places. Yes, like Diddy. Exactly. Some of the greatest people to ever be anything, and this is why I truly believe that Eligio got as far as he did, because they know how to take a piece of everything and make it into one big project. They know how to imitate everything, even when you think they aren't watching. They are conditioned to be able to say, okay, this is what that's why they say hip hop and black artistry and dance and everything that as a community has created as a whole is the biggest imitated thing ever. The hip hop and rap is the biggest imitated culture to ever be, because whenever something is deemed as great, people want to follow that. And that's why he was always able to rebrand and make himself seem so superior than everything else. Like, to the ones that were following him, especially the women, this was a new way for them, a new door. And that's why they would follow suit right then. Like, I specifically remember when everybody started locking their hair up. Not that it was necessarily something that was needed for religious reasons, but it was an aesthetic. And I think Eligio saw that and he hopped on the trend. Even with bingo, he hopped on the trend. He hopped on everything that he thought was popular or that was going to, catch the public eye, which further proves that everything that he taught and everything he said was very, very inauthentic, because it wasn't real. It was something that he got from somewhere else. And I ask you that because at what point, when the narratives were being changed and things were switching up, the energies were shifting, was there ever a point in between those times where you thought, this nigga really just doing anything? Like, at what point did you start to see that?
Honestly, the only time I thought that and decided to explore it was after he got arrested, because every time he would shift, it would be accompanied by an explanation. One of the prime explanations, because you got to understand, when you're in the cult mindset, you don't think. What you use is these series of cliches and scripts that allow you to basically dodge whatever question you want to dodge, and it allows you to justify any action you want to do. So one of his main things as far as the changes was that, you know, the seasons change. There's a season for everything. Sometimes it's winter, spring, summer, fall, and also, the butterfly transformation concept too. You start off as a caterpillar, you go through the cocoon phase, and then you become a butterfly. And also he talked about evolution. Things don't stay the change. You have to upgrade. He used to talk about the software. Microsoft's computer 20 years ago doesn't look the way it looks today. So there was always some element of logical reasoning on why he would shift. And it would be tied to other things that made sense that would kind of solidify his decisions to make sense as well. But it wasn't until he got arrested that I began to, because I remember Steve Jobs said it. He said that you can't connect the dots looking forward. He said you can only connect the dots looking back. And once he got arrested, I began to look all the way back to what I was thinking when I wanted to join Carbonation. And then I looked at where I was. And I had to be honest with myself and say, dude, this is not even remotely close to the reason why you joined Carbonation. Then I had to ask myself, why am I still here? And I had to disassociate my personal responsibility to Eligio Bishop. And I had to accept that he is where he is because of the decisions he's made. There was no reason you should have had people getting slapped on camera. That was dumb. There's no reason you should have been uploading you having sex with those women on Twitter. That was dumb. And so as I looked back, I found a trail of decisions that he made. It wasn't the system, my boy. I had to be honest. Like, the CIA didn't make you do this. The white supremacy didn't make you do this. You did this. And when I was able to pinpoint and target the source of all of his deflections, I realized, like, oh, this man thinks that he gets to excuse his behavior and just blame it on the government and white supremacy and Willie Lynch and slavery. I'm like, no, Eligio Bishop, you chose to do these things. And because you chose to do these things, you have to deal with your consequences by yourself. And if me, like I said, if me leaving means I'm going to hell, tell them I'll be there soon.
Excellent perspective. I do want to wrap my portion of it up because I know it's other people that want to ask questions. I do have one last question, but I will still be on the live and I will continue to support you, Aaron, because I just feel that great things are on the brinks for you. If you could go back and change anything, any narrative, any situation, any person's mindset, any, from the time that you made the conscious decision up until here recently, if you could go back and change or switch anything, what would it be and why?
I couldn't switch nothing, man, because one of the things that was restored for me with this trial and the outcome of this story where it sits today is my faith in humanity and my faith in God. And so what I learned with God is that his plans don't include mistakes. So to change what happened in the past would mean that I would be changing God's plan. That don't make no sense. And secondly, having my faith restored in humanity, I realize that people are not dumb. People are not in their lower self. And just because somebody may be in a certain stage in their life, I can't really say anything about it because I don't know where you've come from and I don't know where you're going. Because for me to point at you and tell you you're this person because of where you are now is the same thing people do to me and say, oh, you're nothing because look at what you were doing in carbonation 4 years ago. So I wouldn't and I wouldn't have this newfound sense of gratitude had it not for God taking me through some of these lowest points. So even though carbonation was a tragic situation, there were some beautiful aspects that came from it that would not have been possible. I wouldn't have never met Kendra. There's no way me and Kendra would have come in contact with each other. She way from Washington. I'm way from Georgia. Secondly, we wouldn't have had Ja, one of the most amazing kids, and I'm not trying to gas him up because he's my son. If he was a lame, I would have just told you I had a lame son, y'all. But Jaomi is one of the most fascinating people that I've met, funny, intelligent, but he's a combination and a byproduct of me and Kendra. Had I had a child with anybody else, it wouldn't have been Ja. So I'm not about to take back nothing. I want it all. Leave it on the internet. Don't take the video down. Leave it up there. Because what was once a time of embarrassment and humiliation later on will serve as a testament to not just our strength, but humans in general. So if Aaron can get out of that, you can get out of anything.
Yes. Our past does not define who we are today. It does do nothing but mold us into the person that who we are to become. It has
Yeah.
been an absolute pleasure being on this live with you. I don't know if I manifested this because I literally asked myself the other day. I was like, nobody ever goes in the box on his lives, and I was just like, I would love to get up there and talk. And I'm an introvert, so I don't even get on lives at all or ever join anything or do anything. I just say what I have to say on TikTok and be through with it. But again, this was a pleasure. I was very engaged, and I do look forward to seeing what life has to offer you, Kendra, and the baby. It was great. I will support you 100%, and you just keep us updated because I think I can speak for everyone when I say we love the content.
Man, this content would have been nothing if you didn't come up here, man. Like I be wanting people to come up here, but they be making me stay. They be making me look at these words scroll in the chat. But you coming up here and shedding light on this situation and adding your perspective and sharing your story is what I want to be doing online. I don't want to be I don't want to be calling Aya and Malia stupid for 6 hours. I don't want to be doing that. There's so much more to be learned and so much more to be gained through our interaction because, like I said, I'm going to say it again, everybody in this chat has a story, and your story is valuable. Just because mine was on the internet, don't mean that it's more valuable than yours. And had you not been to prison, you wouldn't have been able to be the person you are and deliver the testimony you did that I believe was so valuable and inspirational to everybody listening.
Thank you. It's appreciated. Kendra, I see you in the comments. You're a beautiful, beautiful soul as well. I hope somebody screen recorded it because because a lady just said she missed it. So
Hey, it wasn't for you. It wasn't for you. It wasn't for you. That's it. Then listen, man. God said, don't say nothing. Y'all mad? Y'all mad about that? Take it up with God. He said, don't say nothing. He said, the ones that's here is for them. And the ones that ain't, it ain't. Because, and another reason God said, stop making it so easy for these bootleg YouTube channel holders to take something so valuable and try to throw mud on it. If
yeah.
you want it, you better get it while it's going. And
And
look,
that
you from listen, man. I'm gonna do a meet and greet. I ain't scared. I'm gonna do a meet and greet one day, and I'm gonna pop up in Atlanta, man. We get something to eat, man, and laugh and have a good time. Whoever
oh
want to come, come.
definitely. I'm out here. I'm out here. I live in Roswell, so it's a fluent area. It's outside of East Atlanta where I grew up at. But yeah, we can definitely go meet somewhere. I have a 16-year-old and my partner. We usually always do stuff, and I don't go out a lot because like I said, I do public speaking, and that takes up a lot of my time. And I'm just trying to perfect my craft. So this stuff like this right here, it fuels me because I like the engagement, and I like being able to get perspective. Perspective is like everything for me. So this has also helped me as well. And yeah, we can definitely talk offline. I would love to meet you. I would love to meet Kendra. And moving forward, everything is going to be all right.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, stay in contact, man.
All right.
I
All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.
appreciate you. Yeah, man. If you want to get the good stuff, you gonna have to be here, man. Y'all better screen record it yourself. I ain't saving nothing. That junk was fire. Shoot, y'all better screen record each other. Her name Divine Lotus. She probably gonna message me later on. It's Divine.Lotus something. If she's still in here, you said you in Cali. You better ask. You better ask somebody to screen record on the East Coast. Her name Divine Lotus something, babe. I can't remember. It was a long name. You said keep it for 20 hours. Nah, you gotta take that up with God. God said don't make it easy on them. If they hear, they hear. If they ain't, they ain't. She gave some really quality insight and all that good stuff like that. But that was a good time. That what I like to hear. You said I'm so mean. Nah, you gotta take that up with God. Oh, Lynn. When I and them leave, when they leave, I'm shutting all my operations down. I'm be in there just like y'all. When I and them leave and Zoka them leave and they tell their story, if they decide to do so, I'm shutting everything down. I ain't saying nothing until they get through. Cause they need a soft landing and they need a place where they can express and not feel like they gotta do it online. Not got to, like force it.
Be inconspicuous with my flow is f***ing ridiculous. That's quite an accent. See, I'm from the south, but some of the most beautiful things come out my mouth, and I'm on stage just as soon as I come out the house. So I might as well give them something to talk about. I was a rap to make a blind man believe in the boogie, and if you came here to move this evening, the boogie holler. When you want me to come, holler. When you want me to come, call me. When you want me to come, I'll be around. Yeah. And goes in the mouth. I come from the back roads in a dirty house. If you leave the door open, mom's a cuss you out. I got a big dog.